Hello, and today I'd like to introduce you to the Veeam Management Pack for VMware. The design goal behind the Veeam Management Pack for VMware is very straightforward. It's very simply to extend System Center, specifically System Center Operations Manager, out to include deep VMware monitoring, management, forecasting, and planning. System Center already does a great job of monitoring and management at the operating system and at the application layer. But at the virtualization layer, Veeam is really designed to go to the next level in terms of pulling data from the VMware environment, an underlying VMware environment where that is the hypervisor, and pulling that into System Center. It's really designed to the Veeam Management Pack for VMware is really designed to solve four key challenges. They're around VMware visibility, capacity planning, service level agreements and ensuring that service level agreements get hit, and driving out inefficiencies from the data center, both from streamlining the virtualization layer within the data center, but also in streamlining the monitoring and management processes, all within the context of Microsoft System Center. So let me give you a quick view of some of the things that we can do within the Veeam Management Pack for VMware. So here we're looking at System Center Operations Manager. This is actually System Center Operations Manager 2012 Service Pack 1. I do have System Center in this environment hooked up to System Center Orchestrator to provide some workflow and automation at the back end of alerts that are generated, and that's being proxied through Service Manager to help with alert management. But I'm going to focus here on Operations Manager. So the first challenge that we face is getting visibility into the VMware environment and sort of laying that out in a really simple way. So Veeam have done a great job of really putting that information at our fingertips. So for example, we have here a number of topology views. So a topology views are a graphical representation of my VMware environment laid out with health state. So here, for example, you can see a data store, a storage topology view. This is native within the management pack. It's dynamically updated, and what it's showing me is the relationship between my data stores and my clusters and vCenter instances and the virtual machines with health state that are presented underneath that. So as an operator, I can look at this and at a glance see all the VMs on a particular data store that may have an issue, and I can also identify any issues with that data store itself by simply drilling in and using traditional Ops Manager troubleshooting techniques like Health Explorer. Now, VMware visibility, of course, in topology views is one thing, but we also lay that out in health state. So here you can see the data stores, a similar view laid out with health state and useful inventory information. So it's really about putting the right information about where issues may be in the environment at the operator's fingertips. Now, the next challenge that we face is around capacity planning. So the Ops Manager reporting can really help here. And what I want to show you is just a sample report for virtual machine capacity prediction. So what I'm trying to figure out here is where can I put virtual machines within my environment. So I want to look at historical data over the last 30 days and then forecast that out over the next 30 days. And I want to look at clusters and a selection of my data stores. I also want to represent a sample workload that will be used that is fairly typical, and I can use that as the basis for how many of those types of virtual machines I can squeeze into the environment based on these thresholds. And as we look at the results, you can see that we're describing the virtual infrastructure here. And then we can come in and see the constraining resource for each of the objects. So you can see that the potential capacity for that type of virtual machine is inside this cluster is 4, and then varies across the different data stores. And of course I can then drill in and look at each of the areas of the report to see actually what the values were, and I can use that as the basis for remediation against either the storage or the cluster to help provision more virtual machines against that resource. So really useful information that helps me make good decisions about my VMware environment going forward, all based around System Center Operations Manager. Now, service level agreements are something that are important to any operations team. And the Veeam Management Pack for VMware really provides a number of different ways to help teams hit SLAs. So it could be through the alerting. We pull out many alerts from the operations manager, from the VMware environment, and present that inside operations manager. But one of my favorite features is the ability to do analysis alerts. So what this is actually doing is pulling data from two different data sources and presenting it inside the alert description. So if we think about an alert response service level agreement, where an operator needs to make the right decision about an alert quickly and escalate that to the correct teams quickly, then these alerts are really invaluable. For example, here we can see an alert for host memory usage for a particular VMware host, and inside the alert description we can actually see the top 10 virtual machines with their memory utilization inside on that host that may give me a clue as to why that memory threshold had been tripped. Now, the other element of service level agreements, of course, is longitudinal reporting. So, for example, the Veeam Management Pack for VMware lets us run reports like uptime statistics. So here I'm looking at uptime statistics with a service level object of 90%. I can combine this actually with native operations manager uptime statistics as well. And here at a glance, I can see a summary of the uptime based on that SLO for the virtual machines inside my VMware environment. Okay, now overarching all of that is the ability to drive inefficiencies out of our data center. So things like the analysis monitors in terms of efficient monitoring are a key element, but also the ability to very quickly identify potential problem areas. So for example, I may look at my top data stores, and at a glance I can see the data stores that may be tight on free space, or that may be overutilizing space. For example, these data stores are 80%. That may create issues for snapshots for me going forward. But we could see that really for anything represented from the VMware environment. So that might include virtual machines, and here you can see the 4 key metrics with top 10 for my virtual machines, or it could be for hosts or clusters as well, of course. Now, reporting also helps us drive inefficiencies out of the data center, not just at looking at historical performance reporting, which we include within the management pack, but also useful reports, for example, the ability to right size virtual machines to make sure that we're squeezing the best out of the VMware environment and using System Center as a lever to do that. So here, if I look at the results of this right sizing report, it will help me identify virtual machines that are oversized for memory and for CPU, and it will also tell me the resources that I can claim back for memory and for CPU. So according to this report, I should be able to claim back about 1.5 GB of RAM, and you can see where I could claim that back from. In this case, the EU Relo 1. And you can see that we can also claim back 22 CPUs. So you can see what the current CPU allocation is and what the recommended CPU allocation is here in the in this column highlighted. So the Veeam Management Pack for VMware is really designed to help us get visibility into the VMware environment, help us make the right decisions in terms of capacity planning, help us fulfill our service level agreements, and drive inefficiencies out of the data center. Thank you.